Well, hello everybody. Happy Friday. It's good to see you again. Thanks for being here. We're going to go back to edited, produced videos very shortly, but I'm so busy at work right now that this is the best way to go. So, what we're going to talk about today, writers and free work. This one is not particularly fun, not particularly easy, but I'm going to be deadly honest with you. There are times when you're going to have to do free work if you want to win. Call me the stooge of a corrupt institution all you like. As a Gen Xer, I both know it's not true, but I also wear your scorn as a badge of honor. However, of the 40 or 45 jobs I've had in 25 years of selling screenplays, more than half of them happened because of a whole list of supposedly verboten things. So-called free work, the dreaded leave behinds, making friends with the execs, which leaves some people to say, that's so disingenuous, so phony to make friends with people to help your business. How is it phony to get to know people who are looking for your material? It would be exploitative if they weren't also getting something out of it. But guess how execs get ahead? They find something amazing in a script and ride it to a bigger career. So why not my script, right? Why not yours? Big hint here as we really dive in. There are a lot of bitter, almost made it people out there who operate a lot of let's call them screenwriting advice mills. And I've noticed that almost to a person, every single one of these dilettante gurus likes to rail about how untrustworthy execs, producers, the system all are. And sure, anybody can have any kind of individual experience. Are there gatekeepers? Sure. Is everybody? I don't think so. Would I know? Probably not. And sure, systemically, maybe you don't like leave your kids with most of these people who do these jobs. But when I look at execs and producers and the system, all I see is, to paraphrase what Belloc once said to Indian raiders, a shadowy reflection of us, nerds who work their asses off to achieve their Hollywood dream. So, what's the first time that you're going to do work for free? Number one, duh, is when you write a spec. And since you're going to have to write at least one spec and most likely a whole bunch of specs before you break in, you are, by definition, as a budding screenwriter, going to do a lot of free work. So, what makes this okay? Well, one, you own it. Two, in a crazy Zen koan kind of logic, you must first do this job to prove you can do this job. Third, I don't know about you, but I was just writing stories from an early age anyway, doing it for myself. And I've done other videos about what that spec should be, but just to briefly recap and maybe save you 7 minutes or something, that spec that you're putting your free work into should always be the movie that you'd rush out to see Friday night at 7:35 p.m., or the series you'd fire up on a Saturday and lose the entire weekend to. Or better yet, tune in every Thursday at 9, the one that's burning inside you, the thing that you most want to see that happens to not exist yet. That's your spec. That still leaves us with two more times that a screenwriter should maybe do the free work. Which takes us to number two. The question is always, I've got a producer or an EP or an agent or a manager or an executive interested, but they have notes. First off, 99.99% of the time, they're going to have notes. Everybody does, all the way up the ladder. Why? Because their job is in large part perceived as being additive to the process. So they got to get some of their own feelings and opinions in there to justify those jobs. That's the crass part. What's the human part of it? They're creative too. They have ideas too. They want to get some more of their own DNA in there. And guess what? If they do, they become more invested in the project. And what does it take to sell something? A lot of steps, but they begin with finding a champion inside the system who will stand up and say, somebody's got to make this, in a really loud and booming voice, and then keep saying it over and over and over. So in some ways, taking those notes is very good. But beyond that, there's two more factors subdividing the do I do free work for an interested and legit party question. One version is when it's your original idea. Another version is when it's their idea or their IP. With your own idea, you own it till you sell it or until you attach someone to it. But that's a story for another video. If it's your own idea, why not do all the work you need to do to get somebody of merit to champion your material? With one big caveat, have a clear conversation that until you're paid or there's a formal shopping agreement or any other contractual formalization of this idea, that your material and your ideas are yours till you get paid. Awkward conversation to have right away, but they really save you later. Mike Flanagan and I once had an amazing script that had a producer attached who was not really like part of developing it in any reasonable way, never paid us a dime. And it still took 6 or 7 years to get the producer off of the project. So be careful who you team with and who you commit your stuff to. If it's their IP, then you got to gauge how much free work you're willing to do for them on a sliding scale, which includes how good are my ideas for this? Can I just save them for something of my own? How connected is this person? Are they someone who can really get this done if they're excited about it? What's my threshold for taking on work right now? Jobs, relationships, kids, hobbies. You got a lot going on. For me, I would always stick in and do free work till I could not see a real path forward anymore. Why did I do it? Because I wanted to break in and get there. Why did I keep doing it after I started selling stuff? Because I broke it in and I wanted to stay there. It's a business of talent for sure, but it's also a business of relationships. And I never developed anything for somebody for free, someone I respected, that didn't also lead to more things in the future, to a really good relationship. And again, just like you hear in those "don't take any of this as legal advice because I'm not a lawyer" kind of things, let me say, don't take this advice or me telling you what to do. Don't look at it as advice. I am telling you what I did and do because I love this job and it's always worked for me. You got to do what your gut, your instincts, and your heart tell you is right, and don't ever do anything else. I had a specific question from two of my favorite pre-WGA writers out there, Jan, seconded by Jenna, asking specifically how much free work am I willing to do in the getting it sold stage. If I feel like it's real, and if the person I'm doing the free work for certainly has the clout to get it done, and if I love it, and if I am just dying to get there or stay there, only with all those ifs, I would do every single bit of work it took me to get it there. And I would only stop once I felt for myself that there was no way to see a path going forward. And I did it before I broke in, and I still do that today. I read a book I loved. It was an if come thing with the studio. I traditionally turn those down, but I loved it. And I loved the producers, and I wrote the pitch. And then I rewrote that pitch after almost every single meeting that we had. And we had about 20 of them because every single time I picked up some info or a way to make it better along the way. So I did the extra work, not getting paid, stealing the time to do it for my family and the jobs that were paying me. I did it because I believed in it and it worked and we sold it. One more big word on when exactly do you bail from something? Like I said a little bit before, for me, I bail out the moment I lose my love of it. The moment too many notes and too many points of view turn it from something I love into an unrecognizable Frankenstein creature. I bail when my gut tells me it's over. So that's specs and doing free work for interested parties. What's that third time you should do free work? Number three, and I'm going to be straightforward with you. I don't know how other writers seem to perceive this as work, right? But every time I hear it come up from like a pre-WGA and WGA writers and agents and managers, how crazy it is to do this, to just do a leave behind. I do it almost every time. What do I leave? I leave my pitch script. And I've heard from so many writers, working and otherwise, why would you do more work for them? Well, didn't you already like do the work before you went in? Like you had to prepare something to say, right? So leaving behind, it's not really so much like extra work. And then they ask, well, why would you leave it? And it's like, well, first, stop treating development people or producers like the enemy. They're not. They're film and TV loving nerds just like you who work their asses off to achieve their Hollywood dream. And this is where it landed them, working for somebody who has access to financing to make particular kind of stuff. And if I pitch them on a Wednesday and it's 6 days till the staff meeting next Tuesday where they're going to pitch things to the whole team, why do I believe that whatever they managed to scribble into that silly little spiral notebook 6 days ago is going to mean anything to them now, or that they're going to be able to pitch it with any passion behind it? So I leave my pitch behind, especially if I feel they're really into it, because I want to do everything I can to help prep them to go pitch it to their team and to their boss, and most importantly, their money source. Just like everything I talk about here on YouTube or during the Zooms I do for writers as groups or individually, this is what I think. Don't ever take advice that doesn't resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't snap right into your philosophy, then it just simply isn't for you. No matter who says it and no matter what they've achieved, don't ever forget that. As for me, I wanted this job when I was 18 and 20 and 25, and I got it when I was 29, and I knew I wanted it, and I hustled to get it, and I put it before any job or any family member, or any relationship, or any kind of free time or hobbies, always. And I'm not saying that that's what it takes. I'm just saying that's how far it took for me to get it. So once again, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. I am working my ass off to try and grow this free resource for screenwriters everywhere. So wherever you are in your journey, I want you to know that I wish you and all of us the best of luck. Thanks.